Hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 20 of the Enigmatica 6 single-player Let's Play series. Not a lot's been going on in between episodes. We've had the holidays, the new year, and I've just been kind of taking a break working on a custom mod pack of my own. And otherwise, haven't really been doing a whole heck of a lot in this world, which leaves us with a lot left to be done, if that is the case. So, one thing that I did, I need this to be in my main hand, is completely revamped this area. So I think the easiest way to handle this is just to fly. But what I wanted to share is that I was basically running into a strange bottleneck with this system. Here, I'm going to turn the game audio down just a little bit. I was running into a strange hiccup with this system where I wasn't able to process the biofuel and the hydrogen fast enough to get our gas-burning generators filled up with any amount of buffer that would have them burning at a high enough fuel rate to keep up with what we should be theoretically making, which is roughly 16,000 RF per tick, which you can see in the one probe tooltip up here at the top of the screen, is that we're at about 15,850 RF per tick input. We're also currently using quite a bit of that. So if we look at our network statistics, you can see that we're inputting that much, but we're also using about 8,000, maybe closer to 10,000 more on our portable crafting grid, which is interdimensional and wireless, costing us about 8,000 RF per tick alone, just for that one upgrade. So I created a Flux Network to help us both keep a buffer here of 8 million RF, and also the controller, which helps us, it's basically the root of the network, which allows us to do wireless charging. Built right in, very helpful. We can create networks and subnetworks, and this is where you can see a lot of our power is coming in from. So we have flux points, which provide power out, and you can name them. This one goes to our RS controller. You can see it's using 6,000 RF. This one, I don't remember where it goes to, but it uses about 6,000. Sorry, this one uses 9. But you can see our melon power is inputting about 15,000, and our main storage is just kind of fluctuating here and there. So this new system is the exact same as before. It's still pumpkin or melons into a buffer, getting uncompressed and then crushed. Well, the crushed version of that, the biofuel, is going into these ender chests, which are being fed into the corresponding PRCs using these here item transporters, which are like translocators, if you've ever used that mod. And so yeah, that process is basically distributing our hydrogen and our biofuel a little better, because just the one electrolytic separator can most certainly handle all 4 of these PRCs. So now you're going to see that our ethylene buffers are doing a little bit better. They do kind of fluctuate here and there, but I think where we're at right now is still a very good place. All of these are fully upgraded, as you could imagine. So yeah, I'm still having to keep an eye on this, but I was just very tired of coming online to see that nothing was online because something somewhere with the ender gates was acting a little funky. So I stopped using those kind of in the more important places, and have moved on to using some of the alternatives like flux networks. So I think down here is where our other flux point is, if I remember correctly. Do forgive me, it has been a very long time since I set this up. Oh no, it's not in here. Okay. Oh, wait. No, it's under here, I believe. Yeah, here we go. So this is the other one. So yeah, overall, the system has been definitely quite the upgrade. It's just been a matter of getting everything set up to get us this far. But I think where we're at the moment, it has been very helpful. I think we're in a very great place. So, today I would like to get up a very cool little system setup. I think what we're going to do is continue to dive into Botany. So if we look at the quest line here, where we left off was the Botany line here. We still have 2 branches left to handle. We haven't touched Terra Steel whatsoever, and we probably should. So Terra Steel is more than likely coming up next. As we get into the Terrestrial Agglomeration plate, and even into the portals of Alfheim. And then there's the Alf Steel Pylon, which is part of another mod called Mythic Botany. And I've never gotten into this mod at all, but it looks like Alf Steel can be done with a mana infuser, which looks to be kind of in the same vein. Huh, okay. Interesting. So yeah, I think we're going to definitely have to play around with this some today. But to do any of this, we're going to need significantly more power than we currently have. Because at the moment, we're not really, and I said power, I meant mana. At the moment, our current mana production isn't really very impressive or spectacular by any sense of the word. You know, it's fine. What we have set up here is okay with the Floating Rosa Arcana. But you know, it's definitely not automated. It's definitely lacking in some degree. So I was thinking what we could do is, since we already have a lot of the stuff over here anyway, what we would do is set up a refined storage auto crafting system here in this little under area, and use that to auto craft and auto produce cakes for us. And then these cakes could be used to feed a Kekamurus, which will consume the cakes and provide mana as a result. So we're going to have some crafting to do here. It looks like we're also still going to have to get into Alfheim, so that is something worth noting. Not a big deal, but I guess that is something I need to remember as part of our priorities, huh? So yeah, let's go ahead and get that kind of started. I think what we're going to need to do most importantly right now is get that portal to Alfheim going, which means we're going to need the Terrestrial Agglomeration plate. We're going to need, let me think here, glimmering living wood. We're going to need 3 of these. And then just a bunch of standard living wood for the portal. We're going to need 2 mana pools. We're going to need 2 pylon. I believe we need the mana pylon, because what we actually will end up needing is the Natura pylon. And so again, we're going to need this guy right here. It looks like we're missing a handful of ingredients and components here. So we're going to need a Rune of Mana. No surprise there. Go ahead and get that crafting. And we're going to need a Rune of Water. So there's our Rune of Mana. And I'll be back when the Rune of Water is done. And there's the Rune of Water. So now we can make ourselves a Terrestrial Agglomeration plate. We're also, according to the quest, and they are completely correct, we're going to need sparks. These are just a gold nugget, 2 blaze powder, and any color petal. So I'm going to go with the petal we have the most of. I don't know what that is. Probably white looks like. Oh, actually gray. And we're going to need a few of these. That looks like it's going to toss us into a handful of quests. We're going to need 4 lapis lazuli blocks, and that is going to help us Magimon, solid as rock. I don't think I actually know that one. We also got the Spectrolis, and it will generate power based off of wool colors that you give it, as long as they're in the Minecraft wool color order, I believe. It's got to be the Minecraft wood color, or wool color. I could be wrong about that. I'm realizing that that doesn't sound completely correct. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple of things set up here. So we need 2 3x3 areas. You know what we could do? Is elevate this. So we need 1 3x3 area here, like so. And what I'll probably do is decorate this a little bit. We'll put a spark there and a spark here. And these 2 sparks will allow power, or mana rather, to be transferred across to each other. And if we grab ourselves, it's going to require a half a pool of mana. And we have, I think, an entirely full pool, if not pretty close. Pretty close. We're going to need Terra Steel. So Terra Steel, if we wanted to take a look at that, the recipe is just these 3. So I like to use JEI to autofill, because while this isn't the right crafting grid, it does at least try to put the correct items in there, and I think that's nice. I'm a little surprised that this isn't faster. Well, a couple of Kikamuras will fix that. So what we're going to do is just toss these 3 on here, step away. I'm also going to sneak so that our magnet does not pick this up. And what you're going to see is here, there's this mana that's going to start kind of flowing upwards into our terrestrial agglomeration plate. I'm actually going to come all the way over here and take this off. That way we can see it when it's done. And there we go, just finished. So that got us our Terra Steel. And the Terra Steel will wrap up this quest line. The Acrid Carnation is a functional flower, and we also got some Alf Glass flasks. So these quest line rewards are actually pretty good. So you can see we are already on right track for these Portal to Alfheim items. We're going to need an Elven Gateway Core, and we're going to need to upgrade our pylons to the Natura variant. So what we can do is get our Elven Gateway Core and get exactly what we need here, which is 2 Natura pylons. And that is the quest completed, getting us a Summer Rune and the Tangleberry. No frying pans allowed. I don't actually know what this does either. There's a lot of these that I'm getting that I guess I've just never really deep dived enough into Botany to get into, which is kind of interesting. Anyways, so we're gonna need an Elven Gateway Core right here in the center. I am actually thinking we might want to move this one up as well. Based on my experience, I believe it is something like this. I'm going to put filler blocks in the corner for now, but I do have a plan. And we're going to build this up just like so. Almost like a 3x3 nether portal. And you can see I've already used the glimmering living wood around just as a nice decoration. It's one of my favorite little decorations in general. It just looks really great. And I believe I should have some chain. Let's see if we can get some of the gold chain. I think it would be neat if this was like hanging almost. Like so. I think that's okay. It could probably look a little more reinforced. Right now it's just hanging from leaves, but that's okay. And there should be a thing called a slope. I think that, yep, that looks good. And I'm going to decorate our portal with these slopes, like so. The question is, I think, honestly, I do think that the slopes would look better than the chains. So let's get rid of the chains. I don't think they really fit here. I can go and put my ring back on. I don't think that's going to be a problem. There we go. So we will grab the slopes and put those back here. Yeah, I don't think there's really enough variants, or many variants to the living wood texture. So yeah, I tend to just prefer how this looks. And so you may be wondering, how do we ignite this portal? Well, you use 2 mana pools with Natura pylons placed directly on top of them, which can sometimes be a little finicky, but there we go. And what I'm going to do is there are methods... Oh, shoot. I don't think we can... What is a spark augment? Here we go. Yeah, I believe all of these require us to get to Alfheim first. Okay, so we will have to wait on that. But what we can do is start to sort of fill up these mana pools and help those get moving. I need to find a better place for terrestrial agglomeration plate. I should figure that out at some point soon. All right, well that looks to be empty already. And like I said, you can see this guy drained pretty drastically. Now, I do seem to recall that there was a change to the portal. I don't... Let me see. Denizens... Blah, 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 blah. I want to say that the portal no longer costs as much. Let's see. Portal Alfheim. 2 mana pools. I don't know. It looks like it still costs about the same amount that it used to. Well, that's okay. Let's try this out. I think that should be enough. I don't know exactly what they mean by a huge amount of mana. I don't... It used to be half a mana pool per mana pool. So in other words, one whole mana pool. But I don't know if that's still the case or not. I know that there was a change to how this worked for a little while where it didn't constantly require a constant draw of mana. And I think that's still the case, but I don't know if there's anything else that's been changed since then. Botany specifically likes to stay away from the use of numbers, like, oh, I forgot to turn my game volume back up. The use of, like, whole numbers, they like it to be a little bit unclear. So I believe since this isn't lighting, that's a sign that we don't have enough mana. Right-clicking the core with the Wand of the Forest. I don't know why my wand isn't changing between the two modes anyway. Yeah, that seems to be kind of what's going on here. Okay, let me see how much mana we can start to produce. Let me grab some more XP. We'll get some more mana, and then I think we should be good to go. All right, so this is taking a bit too long. So what I'm gonna do is I made another Rosa Arcana. We're gonna put them here and here. We can put the Solagnolia here, and I'm going to put you here, bind you here, bind you here, bind you and you, and this should help. Now, oh, that's a problem. We do need to be able to get close enough to access both of them. So maybe we do this instead. And you there, and you there. Yep, there we go. So now we're going to be producing mana a little bit faster. Now, currently our limit is that these mana spreaders just can't transfer enough. But we can't do anything about that until we get to Alfheim because we need Dreamwood to get the next tier of mana spreader. Once we get there, I think we're going to be great. I think just kind of currently we're in a bit of a pickle as things currently stand. So yeah, I forgot. I've been meaning to turn my helmet slot icon back off. So yeah, right now we're just going to have to still wait around a little bit, but that should at least kind of help. Let's see if this is enough mana. I think it's this other mana pool here that's just not full enough. There we go. So yeah, you see that drained it pretty substantially, but now we can at least get our next tier, which is great. So let's grab living wood. Let's grab some mana steel, some ender pearls. Actually, sorry, mana pearls. And I don't think mana diamonds do much except for the pixie dust. So we'll see if that's really going to be all that important. But definitely right now, let's prioritize maybe 12 of these. And 2 of these. And that gets us Elementium. And now, if we wanted to make a mana spreader of the Elven variety, we can. We have everything we need. So let us replace these two with these two. Once again, we will make sure that these are bound accordingly. And now, these are still going to fill up, but they're going to be able to transfer at least a little bit faster. And there's a tier above this, which is called Gaia, but I don't think we really want to try to get into too much of this. Oh, it's Dragonstone, that's right. Pixie Dust is the other one. But Gaia spirits require you to kill the Gaia Guardian, and that can be kind of obnoxious. So, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, definitely looks like that this is a little bit faster, but we are probably still going to be better off with a couple of other options just because this is so very slow. Now, one other thing you can do is it's worth noting, I guess, rather, that if I put this here, put that there, a mana spreader can spread much more quickly if the pool is closer. So maybe we should do something like this, because this is going to be a lot faster. And then we can put these auxiliary guys right here and here and point you like so. And that way, we kind of have this nested setup that is definitely draining significantly faster. You can see the Rosa Arcana are now basically always empty. And this guy's filling up pretty quick. I gotta say that I think this is probably the best way to do this right now. Again, we're going to probably look into a much better setup coming shortly. But, you know, we are where we are right now. So let's see, what kind of loot are we going to get? We got a Jaded Amaranthus, which is very cool. That guy's very useful. We got the Exoflame. That one is... I think it catches things on fire. I actually don't remember that one. There's a lot of things here that I think is maybe either new or new to me. Uses, yep. Oh, the furnaces. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So this will produce mana to power furnaces with furnace fuel. Or as a furnace fuel, basically. So there we go. I think this setup is at least a little bit more functional than it was just moments ago, thanks to our portal to Alfheim here. Now, we need to toss our book in to get this variant, which is a variant that has some new Elven guard information, because we threw this into the portal, and we have gotten some information from our Elven guard, which is basically the way that Botany envisions this, and I kind of like this story, is the portal to Alfheim here is a very weak one. You can see right through it, you can walk right through it, because it's too weak to really transfer something as big as the player. As big as you, the person. So what you can do, though, is transfer items between the two. And so by throwing your book in here, the Elven Guard have written in it and given you some notes from their dimension to let you know some information about their side of things, because there's a lot of stuff that they don't really think you know, and you probably don't know. And so they want to give you the opportunity to learn these things in a way that doesn't involve directly going to Alfheim. Now, this is where Botany ends Alfheim, is you can only throw stuff in and out of here. There's a mod called Mythic Botany, which allows you to literally go to Alfheim. So that'll be interesting, because I've never done it, I've never seen it, it's completely new to me, I have no idea how things are going to go there. I think it'll be pretty cool, though. Now, let's see what we can really kind of get into at this point. If we wanted to do Kekamuris, we're going to need these other two, and they're also going to get us a quest reward anyway. So let's go ahead and get those. That will get us... Oh, Runes of Water. Actually, very helpful. I'm glad that these are giving us runes, because they're not the most enjoyable to craft. I don't know what I got. I think I got more Runes of Water. That works. Hey, I'm not going to complain. So, let me grab some more Ender Pearls, because we're going to need a good bit of pixie dust. So we can toss these guys in. I know I have an elevator in the center, I just keep forgetting about it. There we go. So if we toss these guys in, we can use the pixie dust to make our Kekamuris. So, the Kekamuris here is going to require all of these things. So that was a Rune of Gluttony. Does this make one or two? It looks like it makes one, which is going to be a Rune of Winter, which is going to require a cake. Now, the problem with cake is we're going to need a couple of different components for this. We're going to need a milk bucket of sorts. Now, we do have the milk jar as an option, but I think what I'm going to just do for now is just grab a couple of buckets, and I will be right back. I'm not going to lie, it's been a while since I've played, and I forgot that we had a cow in a mob imprisonment tool. We're not going to talk about that. Anyways, so coming up here to Botany, let's make our cake. That will help us out significantly. And I think we're going to go ahead and make 2 of these. That's why I was kind of concerned about the remaining bits and pieces here. I do want to go ahead and make ourselves the milk jar. Like so. The milk jar is going to allow us to get infinite milk. So what we need to do is take an anvil. And I know that this is a little bit inhumane, and I don't love it, but it is kind of freaking funny. So, you know, you gotta give it a good little laugh at the creativity. I searched anvil and I didn't get anything. That was... Oh, because this was filtered. And that was an apotheosis block. That's right. My bad. So if we take a look at cow, we're going to grab our cow. And what we're going to do is put our bottle here. And our cow here. And our anvil here. And now we have an item that just produces milk all the time. So you can see in here, there's a little bit of milk. We probably are going to want a couple more of these. So let's grab, we do have another cow in here. We still have our anvil. So we're just going to need another bucket of milk. We are already pretty dang close at this point. I don't know if this can be tick accelerated. Yeah, it definitely can. So let's grab one more of our milk jars. And we will repeat the process. And the reason that I'm doing this is because we're going to want a pretty constant supply of milk going into the cake production system. Milk is going to be pretty important. But you can see one of these will hold 32 buckets of milk. And will produce up to that much. And so we have 32 whole buckets of milk in this guy, which I think is pretty cool. They're a little bit arguably overpowered, but I'm not here to argue that point with people. I just want to have fun and play games. So let me see. That's right, I have a whole setup here that I wanted to put together at some point. I plan ahead. Anyways, Kekamiris, we're going to need Rune of Winter. So we have everything we need for that, except for some living rock. So let's go ahead and get that. We need, I just want to confirm that I have this recipe correct. So we need orange, no, just any wool. 2 snow, wool, earth, water, cake. There we go. This recipe always stresses me out a bit. We'll do it again. We need... oh, we're going to need another Rune of Earth, it looks like. That's going to be kind of a pain, but that's okay. So we need Earth. Rune. Is it not Earth? No, it is Earth. It's just being weird. Okay. Strange. Oh, and we get that back. So we don't actually need the Rune of Earth. I forget. It's so confusing sometimes. Some of these recipes will give you the stuff back. Some of them will not. And I believe it's the ones that consume... Like, if there's a rune in the recipe, so you see we have a Rune of Water and a Rune of Earth, it looks like we always get those back. So in this case, I think we only need the 1 Rune of Summer, but honestly, I'm not really all that finicky about this. Okay, so let's see. If we wanted to get ourselves the Kekamiris, we still need to get the Rune of Gluttony. So the Rune of Gluttony is going to be Winter, Fire, and 2 mana diamonds. Fire, there we go. Just toss that there. And I believe, based on what I've experienced so far, the fire and winter won't be consumed, but I can't tell. I think what I think it is, if I remember now, because again, I haven't done Botany or Botania. I haven't done Botania in a little while, but I believe that the case is such that if you're making one of these 3rd tier runes where it uses a first tier and second tier, that will consume everything. But I don't remember exactly. We're about to find out. No, I was completely wrong, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. Well, hey, at least that saved us a lot of ingredients, and that got us one such Rune of Gluttony. So from here, if we want to make the Kekamuris, we will need these ingredients and a seed tossed into our Petal Apothecary. And that gets us one Kekamuris, and we're going to make another one, like I said. So let's go ahead and get that prepped. Let's see, we're going to need these, those, and our rune. And that gets us our second Kekamuris. So we can turn these into floating flowers, just like you do all the other ones, like so. And with 2 floating Kekamuris, I'm going to get rid of our Rosa Arcana in just a bit, but for now, I think what we can do is just put them here. Bind you there, and I want to show off how this works. So let's grab another cake. So if you'll remember, we have most of these things automated. We just don't have sugarcane or wheat automated, but we can do that. We can have cloches set up. So I realize now that because of time limitations, we're probably going to be stuck with only being able to do part 1 today, which is just to get cake automatically crafted. But you know what? That's not so bad. So if we grab one cake and put it here, watch what happens. The cake gets eaten in exchange for a whole bunch of mana. So what I'm thinking is that we could probably set up auto-crafting such that we create a cake and we place it right in that space that you just saw here, and we just keep on placing them until we run out of space for mana, because these guys won't eat more cake when they run out of space for mana. So in other words, when their mana buffer fills up, they will no longer eat cake. So we can just continue to auto-craft cakes and put them into an ender chest, which I think is what our goal is going to be today. So we still need to do 2 things. We need to get 2 garden cloches to automate a couple of our remaining ingredients. So let's get these. I should really teach it a lot of this stuff. We should do that. So let's go to our storage room. And, well, I don't know that we have a way to do metal press stuff, so we may just have to do it manually for now. Let's grab steel. And we will multi-servo press it like so. And I can clear out some of this stuff. If we grab some copper, and then we have our engineering table over here. This guy... What? Crafting components, engineer's blueprints. What am I missing? That's strange. Normally it shows you all the things, but it's not. That's super strange. Anyways, that gives us what we need, and now we can create our cloches. Or did I make the wrong tier? I think I may have just made the wrong tier. We just needed the iron tier. Oh well. We can quickly toss that in there, and that immersive. We're going to need more tubes. No, we actually have enough tubes. Good. So if we grab our iron plates, now we can come and craft the correct thing. There we go. Still strange that it's not showing all the output slots. I wonder if that's a recent change that I'm just not super duper aware of. Now we should have ender gates, right? We probably don't need the spirited ones. We can probably just go with the simple tier. We're going to need a sink. Actually, we have an ender tank channel that I created recently that has water in it. So we don't need to make a sink because we already have it. We're just going to need some blue dye. Is there a way to create blue dye crusher? Okay. That made biofuel. Never mind. Whoops. Right, lapis. So we grab lapis, we make blue dye, we do all 3, and now you see that fills up with water. So that's that component. We now need to get seeds and the block that we want to grow this on. So in this case, that would be dirt and sand. And we're going to want cane. And I think that should be it. Now, the question still remains. If we come over here to storage, we have you and we have you. These two will probably need voiding upgrades. So let's go ahead and get that. And what we can also do is grab a trash can and use the at Pretty Pipes mod to, let's see, high speed, medium extraction module. Actually, let's do low retrieval instead. And an ender chest, like so. What is our ender chest frequency again? I don't remember. Cyan, okay. So I'll grab cyan dye. And what we can do is the following. If I grab fluid pipes, I don't know the creates will work, but I'd be interested in giving them a try. So let's. I'm thinking what we could do is set up our cloches outdoors over here, just because I think it would look really cute. I'm just not sure exactly how. I guess what we could do is the following. We can do that. We'll need our ender gates here. We will need our fluid here, like so. Again, I don't know for certain that these will work because they tend to require a pump of their own. Yeah, it looks like you'll have to have a create pump of its own, which I'm not going to go with. Let's just take out basic mechanical pipe. I know these work. So with basic mechanical pipe, that'll start to fill up. So now we just need to plant this on sugar or on sand, this on dirt, and you see we're going to start getting a lot of progress. Now we can speed this up some if we put bone meal in. To this slot right here, this will essentially fertilize the water. So you see there's a fertilizer amount. You can actually increase that by using bone meal. I'm going to do that for now, just for the testing purposes of the time being. And what we can do finally is, this is where it kind of gets a little bit difficult. We have wheat, and I don't want wheat seeds. So what we might want to do with at Pretty Pipes is the following. We grab 2 pipes here, and we have our ender chest here, and our trash can here. That way it is nice and symmetrical. I'm going to grab seeds, and we're going to tell this guy, can you open them up? No, you have to do this first. We tell you only retrieve seeds. So this guy will only retrieve seeds. You will only delete seeds. Perfect. And then we'll tell you just retrieve. I don't know that there's a way to change whitelist, blacklist mode on this tier, so let's up the tier. Let's see, high tiers, pull faster. Let's go ahead and go all the way to the top tier. And it looks like they don't have a whitelist, blacklist mode, which is kind of a bummer, but not that big of a deal. And we'll just do that. And so now we will start sorting that. So at this point, we have automated eggs from here, right? Remember, we have all of our eggs. We have 16,000 eggs on hand at all time. I think that might still be a little bit overkill, but, you know, I don't know. Let's go ahead and put a high speed in both of these just because makes it a little faster. See, so that's working out perfectly. We won't have any seeds in here. If we were to, sorry, I do have a bit of a messy inventory. If we were to go on from here and work on automating the milk that we had set up, if we come over here, we've got these two, right? So what we can do is start working on there is a what I'm at a loss for words for some reason. There is a setup that you can do with refined storage. That's the mod. Sorry, I don't know why I'm at such a loss of words for today. This is going to make editing fun for me. So what we can do is set up with refined storage some fluid automation to import and export from these, and then store the fluids for us. So first things first, I think what we're going to do is make a tank. Now, tanks come in various shapes and sizes, but I think a large dynamic tank with a dynamic valve would be good. If we look at refined import, let's get one of these. Go ahead and control-click that to get all the ingredients we need. We're going to need an importer. We're actually going to need 2 of these. If you control and shift-click, it will automatically craft it for you. We're going to need cable. We're going to need external storage, which we fortunately already have. And like I said, we're still going to need a large tank. So we have some options for the tank, but I think what we could do is put it here and just leave it, or we could put it here in the center. That might make a little more sense to put it in the center. Maybe we should do that. Let me fill this back in real quick. All right, so what we can do is build this dynamic tank from Mechanism. These guys are super neat. I do really enjoy them. So these are large multi-block tanks that are dynamic in size. It doesn't matter what shape or size you make it, as long as it's cuboid or rectangular rather, like somewhat of a rectangular prism. And you need to have an input valve of some sort so that there's a way to actually interact with the tank. But these guys store quite a lot of fluid. So what I'm going to do is put these 2 here. And we're going to be sure to decorate this nice enough that we can still see them. That way we never forget where we put them. Because someday we may be like, I need more milk. Where do we put these? Where did we put these? And we won't have that problem. So if I grab some dirt, fill this in. And what we're going to need is an external storage. Or sorry, not external storage. Importer. Here and here. And this is going to import milk. So you see that it's not doing anything because it has nowhere to import into, which is exactly the case. It's basically just kind of stuck. But we can, in fact, import, or use the, use the large tank that we have here as a means of storing it and interfacing with like the amount that we have and stuff. So if we put cabling all the way around here, and we put a dynamic valve here, and we lastly put external storage here with a priority of 1024, and make this a type fluids import, and we'll need to do the same, or external storage, and we will need to do the same for the importer. You see the redstone particles indicate that this worked. We can hold 512 buckets worth of milk at any one time. A little bit overkill, yeah, but why not? Lastly, what we need to do is come here and tell you to import fluids. And these should now be empty, and this should now be filling. So now we have milk pretty much at all times. And it's kind of goofy that we just have a giant milk tank, but hey, you know what? It does work. What I'm going to do now is grab refined cover. We have some covers here with holes in them, these hollow ones, and you'll need these to put a cover on a solid block or on an importing block like that. So we'll do that. I'll probably replace the block underneath with some sort of a light. I think maybe maybe just one of these would work, I think, probably. So we'll do that. I like these a lot just because they're so simple. Put those there, and we should have some structural glass. Beautiful. So now we know where our milk is coming from. You can see it is a constant influx of milk, and that is perfect because we can now teach our system how to craft using that milk. And I know you're probably wondering how, because it's a fluid, but what we can do is keep 3 buckets in our system at all times, right? Now, if we come over here and we tell you that we wanted to make a cake. Sorry, I have to actually type it down here. Let's say we want to craft a cake. Now, if we tell you processing, hang on. If we tell you how to make a milk bucket, there is a way to do that, and I don't know why I can't remember it. 1 second. Okay, so here's how we can do this. There is a solution. It's just a little bit of a something, but we have a workaround. So there's the fluid encapsulator from Thermal. This guy is not too terribly difficult to make. Let's go ahead and get that made up real quick. There we go. This guy, let's see, we should have a gate here. Can be crafted using a crafter. So what we'll do is we'll grab probably just an iron tier. I don't think it's necessary to go completely overkill here. And what we can do is we can tell you that in the fluid encapsulator, a recipe like such, where, and this is where I was forgetting something. If we come here and switch from items to fluids, you'll see that there's 1 bucket of milk plus 1 bucket equals a milk bucket, right? Perfect, because what we're going to do is we're going to tell you insert on the top, and I believe... How are we exporting? There's a thing behind here, I believe. Yep, so let's grab an importer. We will output on the back, auto input. And so now, if I were to put the recipe in there, and we'll use this for basically anything else that still needs fluid encapsulating, that is totally fine with me. At cover? No, cover, sorry. I'm still kind of forgetful. Let's go ahead and cover this guy up. That way we don't see it. We put that there. You're fully powered, and now if I requested a milk bucket, we can do that. And it shouldn't be that slow of a recipe, right? It's pretty fast. So I don't know that integral components would really be too helpful, but I'm going to toss them in here anyways, just because I'm kind of extra like that, and I want the milk to come through really quickly. So now if I were to request a cake, it will work. It's going to fill that in, and we should get a cake. If I wanted to request, maybe not 64, let's do 20 cakes. You're going to be missing buckets, but that's not really going to be a problem, I don't think. Okay, so that is a huge hurdle covered. Now we have one last thing. Let's grab 2 ender chests from the ender chest mod, not the vanilla variant, and let's color them with red dye. Like so. Kind of looks like a cake color, sort of. Forgive me for not being too terribly creative. And so, with these being like so, we can make an exporter. This is an advanced exporter. I think that'll work. And we're going to want a crafting upgrade. Like so. Now, these guys are not too terribly difficult to make. We need an upgrade. You really don't know how to make those? We should probably solve that. Anyways, upgrade into a crafting upgrade. And what this does is makes it so that whenever you ask it to export something, if it doesn't already have one, it will craft it. So we will come down here. And I think what I'm going to do is just put it right here alongside everything else, because I think that would just kind of look cool. Again, let's go with a hollow stone brick cover. I think this mod has been updated to support covers. Oh, maybe not. That stinks. Unless it needs to be the very tip. No. Okay, let's just go with the standard exporter then. I don't think we really need to be all extra like that anyway. It's not like we're going to fly through the Kekamiris cakes anyway. So if we put exporter here, hollow cover here. Yeah, see, that worked immediately. And told our exporter, this guy, to export cakes, but only those that you craft. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to start crafting cakes to fill this up. So, because we have automated everything, let's grab another glass from mechanism. Since we've automated everything, for cakes, we have automatic milk, we have automatic sugar, and well, we probably need to teach it sugar from sugarcane, so that will be a problem. But we have wheat. Let's go ahead. I don't think you know sugar, right? Yep. Let's do sugar like so. Maybe reorganize that a little bit. So you have sugar. Should be going down, right? Unless this is already full. No, it's not full. I mean, are we out of milk? Oh, we are. That's kind of surprising, but at the same time, I think that's okay. We can tick accelerate these for now. And that's going to help significantly. We have a lot of time stored up in these bottles. So we'll just keep these tick accelerated while we catch up. Keep in mind that we're currently kind of on an influx of necessity, because normally we don't need quite so much, but we really do need a significant amount of cake right now because this is completely empty. So, all right, we're getting there. 43 buckets of milk, 50 buckets of milk. It seems to be fluctuating for sure. Yeah, we went through 3 hours of time, but hey, you know what? It's okay. So, yeah, you can see that just 60 buckets is not much when we have 5,000 buckets of capability here. But like I said, this will fill up eventually. And because I'm going to be sitting here kind of cleaning some stuff up in between episodes, it'll have a chance to catch up before we start using these cakes that we've started creating automatically. But with that, I think we have hit a good ending point for this 20th episode in our single-player Let's Play series. Cakes are going to be... I think a really big deal for us as we go forward into the future with Botany and trying to kind of auto-craft a whole lot of stuff. What is this? A mod called Transport. I actually haven't seen this before. Maybe we'll take a look at this at some point. It looks like there's kind of a good bit of a new rail stuff that we might be able to get into. That could be kind of cool. But yeah, see, now we're completely filled up on cake. So that's sort of the end of where we need to get with the cake work. So next episode, we will set up a automatic cake placing machine for our Botany setup over here, such that we can finally get rid of our Rosa Arcana, and I think we will be in a very good place in Botany at that point. So anyways, thanks a lot for hanging out this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.